we can get this show on the road. And hopefully, I mean, I really don't want to give anything that's going to be eye-opening or revolutionary out of this. It just really kind of, for me, was a reminder. I've been listening to our CEO, Chris Stewart, and I don't know how much attention you've paid to the frequent emails that he's been sending over video during this time to the whole entire company. But I found something pretty impactful yesterday, day before, as a matter of fact, about there's a colonel, and there's a long story about this gentleman who, you know, essentially it was a POW in Vietnam, and just a really remarkable person, and he constantly got asked that story of, just how did you survive in captivity in Vietnam as a POW, just essentially tortured to an inch of his life for 7 years, and came out of there. I mean, he was in almost solitary confinement for 7 years, and his simple answer was that he was completely and wholly focused on what he could control. And the things that he can control it wasn't the optimists, he said. That's rooted in what his philosophy was. It wasn't the optimists, because the optimists kept saying, oh, well, maybe we'll get out by Christmas, or well, then maybe we'll get out by Easter, or well, then maybe we'll get out by summer. Those people just eventually got worn down, because at the end of the day, we can't control what we can't control. And so what he said was the action takers were the ones that survived. And so right now, more than ever, like, for us to be able to know what the reality is, reality of the situation, meaning the facts, what's going on in the market, how things are playing out, but also being wholly focused on our goal, whatever that goal is. If your goal is to say, you know what, I really can't handle this, and I'm going to just wait till everybody gets to go back to the office, that's cool. That's fine. I totally respect that. But I think that everybody that's on this call is saying, how can I keep everything moving forward despite the fact that we live in unprecedented times? Am I right? So really, for me, communication and having a routine and having systems in place to be able to control what you can control helps us get through onto the other side without focusing on when we do eventually get out of here. Now, I know this situation is completely irrelevant to somebody who spent 8 years in a POW camp in Vietnam, but it does have the same ring to it in the terms of, we just really don't know when. So why not focus on what we can control? And what we can control is the way that we use our time on a daily basis. And now, so a lot of people, granted, I'm not going to knock you if at this time you're going to use it to rest and reset and recuperate. And I get that. There's time for that. And there's actually time for it in being productive or being maximally productive during this time. But really for us, how is it that we make good use of our time? And so as a result of that, I've made just entertain my humor for a moment. But I want to say that right now is a great time to how to not be a time-wasting McBusyFace. I'm sure that everybody on this phone call right now can absolutely relate to sometime over the past 2.5 weeks when you have been on the phone, running around, doing everything. All of a sudden it's 6 o'clock and you go, wow. And then go, I don't know what I got done today. I have been guilty of that numerous times. Honestly, for people that are working from home, from people that are homeschooling, from people that are trying to grapple with how to build a business during an uncertain time, from a completely different environment when you can't go around in the grocery store and say hi to random people and see if they want to buy or sell real estate. Now is a difficult time. So what we got to do is focus on, well, I can't control that. How do I be productive in a very, very peculiar environment? Working from home can be as unproductive as it can possibly be, or we can book out time to be productive and then just understand that we're at home and that things are just different. So really, the 4 pillars of good time management are as follows. 1, they have clear and consistent rules, meaning that once you set that goal, it has to be something that you can actually do and is measurable. Clear, consistent. It's not I'm gonna get up tomorrow and I'm gonna work out in the morning and then I'm gonna sit and do MLS in the afternoon, right after I'm done with that. And then as soon as I do that, then I'm going to answer my emails. Then after lunch, I'm going to work on my listing presentation. And then I'm going to have some time for family. And then I'm going to eat dinner and I'm going to go to bed. That's not clear and it's not consistent. It's time blocking. It's creating a rule from 8 to 9. I'm spending 1 hour. I'm spending 1 hour just in the MLS on listings, pending, solds, looking for trends, looking for changes, having something to print. But then being consistent with that. I'm going to do that 4 days a week or 3 days a week. I'm going to do it Monday, Wednesday, Friday from 8 to 9. I'm going to do this I'm going to do past client follow-up on Monday and Wednesday from 1 to 4. It can also has to be repeatable over an extended period of time. Now, what I mean is not doing 75 new client outreach or 75 client follow-up calls in one day. And then you can't do that every day. It has to be repeatable. I'm gonna do 5 every single day from now on. It has to also be completely controllable. So meaning it has to be a measure that only you are in control of. So it can't be something that is reliant upon someone else. It's not, I'm gonna have 4 conversations with my sphere of influence. You might not get those people and you might spend 3 hours trying to call them. I'm gonna make 10 calls to the sphere of influence. However many conversations you have, stick to the time block and go. And it also has to be testable and measurable. Is this something that's worth my time? Yes, I can say I'm gonna spend 6 hours trying to organize my home office, but is it testable? Is it measurable? Is it productive? Yes, but is it testable or measurable for your business? Those are the key components. I mean, it's almost like four legs on a chair. If you got one missing, you're going to fall over. And so the first thing, that clear and concise rule, time blocking, is the biggest thing for me. And I know that this image is just very stock, but really how time blocking works and how you make it work for you is 1 to 3 hour blocks of time that are precise. They have a defined start time and a defined end time. You fill it in first with your absolutes. You know, for me, that's going to be a time for education for yourself, business education, or personal, it doesn't matter. A time for moving, a time for sweating, if that's your bag, or just movement of any sort. And then also the second biggest thing, which is your business building. And that's your outreach, your plan for how are you going to contact the people that you need to contact today. The rest of it fills in as necessary. But the theory behind time blocking is that it puts the big pieces first so that the other stuff just gets filled in and everything else takes a back seat to what is on the time block. And I would challenge you to post it, print it out, put it on your fridge, put it on the front of put it right by your desk, get one, take one, there's 100 of them online that you can just get a calendar. And what I used to do was, or an Excel spreadsheet, and just fill in for blocks of time. Do it in a different color Sharpie, and the different color was contacts, databasing, whatever it was. I mean, you pick your thing because it's got to work for you. What works for me is not going to work for you. And I challenge you to put it in a conspicuous spot. So time blocking is one. And the next one, I know you're going to get on me for the hoodoo thing because everybody's got something about a powerful morning routine. I get it. I understand. But I'm not saying that it has to be some 3-hour long thing where you do hot yoga and then you make mushroom tea and you give all your gratitudes and write them in a bespoke journal and like that's that's crap, especially right now. Your powerful morning routine might be going outside and sitting on the porch and having a cup of coffee for 10 minutes while you doodle on your phone. Now, is that an ideal powerful morning routine? But it's anything that works for you, has a positive physical and mental effect on you. It is something physical in my mind, and it's also something mental. It gets your body moving and your mind moving. It gets you just essentially ready for the day. If you're not ready for it, you're not going to do it. I mean, if you're not in if you're not in a good headspace, you're not going to want to do all the stuff that you've committed to do. And then you're going to beat yourself up for not making your deadlines. And then there's the cycle again of non-productivity. Then you're going to go handle something else because it's something to do. You're going to clean a room or do laundry or something else. And then it's all just going to fall to crap. If you set the tone for the day, then everything else can, or at least has the opportunity, a bigger opportunity to fall in line. The next thing, and so in that time blocking, I feel like the first priority should be skill building. Set out some time for skill building. Now, whether that's market study, it's literally every detail about our local market right now is of utmost importance. It's listings, it's pendings, it's closings, it's trends, and it's changes. Because right now, our ability to convey that knowledge to the people that need it right now, fear is normal. And right now, a lot of the people that we're dealing with are dealing with a lot of fear. Now, fear comes from a lack of knowledge about a certain situation, or rather than a lack of knowledge, it comes from an abundance of uncertainty. That's where fear comes from. I'm sure everybody's heard what fear actually means. It's false evidence appearing real. And that's because it's uncertainty. And right now is an extremely uncertain time. So now more than ever, the amount of knowledge that we're able to convey to be able to create trust and be transparent, not, oh, everything's fine, everything's great, I'm super busy, yeah, it's a great time to buy or sell. No, here are the facts. It's not better than it is. It's not worse than it is. Here are the facts, and your ability to be able to be transparent will create trust. It will help create calm in those people that we're dealing with on a daily basis. And ultimately, I really feel like it determines how the economy of the United States of America will recover and the world writ large. So our ability right now to be the voice of reason, not sunshine, lollipops, it's reason. Our ability to be the voice of reason could potentially not just let us come out stronger on the other side of this, but we could also view it as a defining moment in our industry. Let that sink in for a second. And so the next thing is so obviously the MLS study that's a no-brainer. That is a non-negotiable. We need to know what's going on in our local market. We need to have all of that. The next thing is being able to practice the listing presentation. Now, I know that we've rolled out a different, more truncated, simplified version, if you will, version of our listing presentation. Now, more than ever, is the time to practice delivering that, whether it's to your cat, your best friend, or just to the wall. Get it and get it down. And if you want to practice it with me, give me a call. We'll do that. But I mean, honestly, if you wanted to commit for yourself, at least to just review that listing presentation and familiarize yourself with it, let's say 2 days a week after lunch, I'm going to roll through the listing presentation twice by myself. Yes, does that seem like that's nothing? Well, yeah, you do it about 40 times. Guess what? Guess who's really, really good at delivering that listing presentation? The person that does that for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, however long it takes. It doesn't have to be a 2-hour thing. And the next opportunity right now for skill building is to really dive in on your ability in DTR, Zip Forms, and DocuSign. You know, we're in the online universe right now. Imagine what an hour of I don't really discriminate as to whether or not it's looking in the resource center for your online DTR training opportunities. If it's watching a YouTube video, if it's calling me, if it's walking through it with Jennifer on the phone while she shows you how to create a room or do anything that you have particular trouble with. Right now, own it, and all of a sudden a 3-hour process could possibly be a 30-minute process for listings and contracts and forms. I mean, it could literally cut an hour and a half to 2 hours out of yours and other people's days. And the final thing would be online training. So now I know that's kind of a nebulous term, but it's anything. Think about something, and or just call me and see if there's any suggestions that I've got. There is just a dearth of information, whether it's in the resource, whether it's in Learn resource. There is a ton of information in there. Anything that's in your business and I'll get to why you'll be able to identify what you need to work on. Anything that you can think of is available there. But if it's not there, there's a vast amount of information on the internet in terms of real estate training, real estate specific training and coaching. Now, whether it's from inside the company, I think that we provide some great stuff, or just going out there and finding something because it connects to you, I say, go for it right now. Build that into your time block. And the next thing is deep thought. Now, I know this is just one of those things that you're like, what do you mean deep thought? I think right now we have the ability to give ourselves the permission to be brutally honest about where we are in our business and where we need to go, or what we need to do in order to get where we want to go. And we need to actually spend time thinking about it. So much of our days, especially now, and just feeling like we're running around with our heads cut off, we need to take some time to actually think, not take time to chill out, take time to think. And the first thing is, who do I need to be looking out for right now? So I had this conversation yesterday with several different agents, what I'm thinking about right now and what I'm exploring in terms of helping with everybody. Now, obviously, your current and your past clients, that's who we need to be looking out for right now, first and foremost, yes. Or those people that are in the research phase of buying, the ones that are looking around but not real sure, or the ones that are pumping the brake. Now more than ever is the time for us to just, I'm gonna be frank, annoy the hell out of them. Keep up with them. The second thing is looking for areas of opportunity. Now, thinking about long-term rentals, Airbnb houses, who of those people that we can even find in the Greenville market have an Airbnb now that they ain't got no business, or they've got short-term rentals, they ain't got no rentals right now. Now might be an excellent time for those people to consider selling. It also might be a great time right now to know somebody that has an extreme amount of investment in Wall Street. It might be time for them to diversify into real estate. There's an excellent way to bridge the gap there. For sale by owners and expireds, that I shouldn't even need to go into. But right now, more than ever, if those people need to sell, well, they really need help right now. And rural property. This is going to seem a little bit out of the box, but it comes from thought. How many people live in these high rises in Miami, DC, and New York, Los Angeles that are now going to be like, holy mackerel, I got to get out of the city. I need a home out in the country. Greenville is one of the top destinations in the world for people to move to. How many people are looking to move from an urban environment into something with a little bit more space and room to breathe? So who do I know that's out of state right now that could qualify? It might be time for them to move to Greenville. And then also, where do I need to be improving myself or my business? And so that's going to be a gut check kind of thing. And I can understand how that would be probably one of the most difficult portions of this, but that's why it's deep thought. I got a list a mile long that I've come up with in the last week and a half. So it's helpful though, because you actually need time to think about those things and to be able to put in place a plan, an action plan to go and do those things. And I know that's a little personal, but hey, I care about the people. Not only ones that are on this call, but the ones that'll view the recording later today, and every single one of you people that work in the company. I care about all of you first and foremost. And if you're not good, your business isn't going to be good. And the next thing is, what can I do today to help myself or my clients? That could be just as simple as sending out note cards to people you've done deals with in the past, or giving yourself 30 minutes to start that book that you've wanted to read. Something that could be helpful. It doesn't have to be huge, but it could be impactful to somebody or even to yourself. And then the next thing right now is to really, really think in detail about, why do I love what I do for a living? If you can get clear on that, but also be real about it, the rest of this stuff is going to happen, because then you're going to figure out, okay, I love to do this because X. I love to do this because for a long time in my life, I was focused on business, but I realized that I am really committed to helping synthesize mindset, strategies, techniques, and tactics, and utilize the experience that I had as a business person to help grow other people's business. I want to help change other people's lives so they can actually be successful and not drive themselves crazy in the process. That helps me do the stuff I got to do because I know why I want to do it. It's not perfect, but a house is not good without a foundation. And why you love what you do is the big piece. So with that being said, I'm gonna shut up, and I would like to open it up for everybody else, just to be able to have a conversation about whatever it might be, things that you're doing right now to stay productive, ideas, questions. I'm an open book right now, and considering all that time, we've got at least, I say about 10 minutes or so to spare. I'm amazed that I got us out of here in less than half an hour. But so really open it up. What's anybody doing? What's anybody seeing? What's on your mind, or any general discussion? Not everybody all at once. Okay, quiet crowd this morning, but I am very, very thankful for y'all, and I hope that there was something usable to take away from that you can go and implement today to help make not only today, but tomorrow, the next day a little bit better for you and for everybody else. Okay? Awesome. Have a great Wednesday.
Thank you, Richard.
You got it. Thank you, guys. I really appreciate y'all.